to the cinema to see one of my 2023 most anticipated movies. So, still dominating the boxing world, Adonis Creed is thriving in his career and family life when Damien, a childhood friend and former boxing prodigy, resurfaces after serving time in prison. He's eager to prove that he deserves his shot in the ring. The face-off between the former friends is more than just a fight. To settle the score, Adonis must put his future on the line to battle Damien, a fighter who has nothing to lose. Directorial debut by the star, Michael B. Jordan. It was Creed 3. Now, I'll kick us off here because I am a massive Rocky fan. I always have been. When I used to go to my nana and granddad's in Wales, we used to rent all the Rocky box sets from Blockbuster, and I used to watch the Rockies, honestly, on repeat, especially, 1 to 4, really. Obviously 5, 6 was nice, nostalgic, but still, 1 to 4, solid. And then obviously Creed, the original Creed came out, which I thought was absolutely brilliant. I loved what they did with it. Michael B. Jordan absolutely smashed it. Then Creed 2 came out, which was, a little bit far-fetched. Still absolutely loved it. Loved Creed 2. And I was chomping at the bit for Creed 3. I was probably the most excited I've been going to the cinema, even after that football game, than I have been this whole time that we've been doing this podcast.
You were like me before Cocaine Bear.
Exactly, yeah. I was so giddy. And yeah, I'll kick it off. First things first. Michael B. Jordan, Jonathan Majors, the two kind of main stars in it. That's the big fight that it all builds up to. Two absolute gargantuan, amazing, I can't even think of the words, performances and the way that they did it. And let's just take a moment. We on Adam and Cockney John's Big Movie Podcast, we are an inclusive podcast. We celebrate everything. But the condition that Michael B. Jordan and Jonathan Majors got themselves in is
absolutely ridiculous.
It made me embarrassed.
It was embarrassing.
Exactly, yeah. We were both sat there, Cockney John covered in nachos and cheese. I was sat there thinking, my God, look at the state of those muscles. And, it was amazing. But in terms of the film, Michael B. Jordan directing for the first time, I thought he did an absolutely stellar job. I thought it was brilliant. Now, people may think I'm biased because, obviously I was well up for it. I love the Creed films, love Michael B. Jordan. But I actually thought the film was top draw. I really, really, really did enjoy it. I thought the story was really good. It didn't go too silly. Don't get me wrong. There's classic.
It was
Rocky,
a bit silly.
There's classic Rocky boxing sport movie cliches in there. But at the end of the day, if you're going to watch a film kind of the Rocky franchise, which Creed is, you that's what you're going for. You know it's not going to be anything different. But this, I think the performances, Tessa Thompson as well as Bianca is always amazing.
My word.
And yeah, she is just absolutely stunning. And I just thought the film was kind of exciting. It was kind of dramatic. It was hard hitting. The action, the fight scenes were spectacular. I was slightly nervous as the film was starting because it was a packed cinema, wasn't it? We were in the IMAX as well. We went big for it.
Oh, it's so good.
And
so good. It's my favourite way of watching a film
100%.
is IMAX.
Yeah, the noise, the screen.
Beats 3D, beats 4DX, everything. Yeah. For me, it's IMAX.
100%. And I just think it delivered exactly what it needed to deliver and more. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. And when we always talk on this podcast, I was like, would you watch it again? I've watched Creed, the first one, probably 4 or 5 times. I've watched Creed 2 at least 3 times because I watched it with you on the cinema, and then I watched it with Kim as soon as it came out, and then I watched it again just on my own when I was up with my son one random night. Creed 3, I will be watching. I may even go to the cinema again to watch it. I liked it that much, yeah. So I'm going to kick this review off with 4.5 Harry Stampers. And I gave it such a worldy of a review there that people may be saying to their devices or wherever you're listening to this, how's he not give it 5? What's up with him? It may be that there was a slight issue in my mood after losing 7-0 to Liverpool. But personally, I would probably just say I didn't give it the full 5 because it didn't reinvent the wheel or whatever that saying is. You know what I mean?
It wasn't original.
No. It doesn't follow.
It did what it says on the tin.
Exactly. Like I said about the cliches. I mean, we're talking montages. We're talking
motherfucking montage.
The build up to the fights and all that stuff. But I'm there for it. I am there for it. But the only reason I'm not giving it a 5 is probably just because of that. But I wouldn't be surprised if many other people gave it 5 because I thought it was top draw. Now, and the funny thing is, I was bang up for it, so it delivered tenfold for me. But Cockney John, I remember a couple of years ago, I dragged him. Literally physically dragged him to go and watch Creed 2 because I had no one to go and watch it. I'd obviously got my kids, couldn't, get a sitter or whatever, and I was desperate. I was absolutely desperate. And, Cockney John being the good friend
Cheers,
he is.
Man. What a build-up.
I literally had no one else to call. And he came with me and we went to Creed 2 and I came out of Creed 2, if you remember, being like, oh man, I love that. I loved it. And you were like, yeah, it was all right. Yeah, it was all right. So you were going in kind of not bothered, were you?
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
And I mean, I'm not a Rocky fan. I've never... I view Rocky the way you view Grease. Now, I love Grease, my favourite film of all time. But you just are...
Yeah, it's like I like it.
All right.
I like it.
Yeah,
but it's not like it's
I
not
can
my
watch
go-to.
it. It doesn't offend me, Rocky. I just think like you say, the cliches, especially in the Rocky films. I just thought they were stupid.
Right.
I think what Creed has managed to do is pay homage to the cliches, but not be quite as ridiculous
and as
which
corny.
I like. Yeah, not as corny. Yeah. And I really like that.
Right, so Creed 3, what are you saying?
Creed 3. Right, now we had a row, basically, didn't we, when we left?
We did have a row, yeah.
The cinema. We've got to be careful about how we describe this, because I don't want to give nothing away. But essentially, I came out of it wishing...
No.
The other guy... Go on.
No.
Don't
be revealing... any sort of secrets.
Right. I came out of it 100% supporting his opponent.
Right. Yeah. It's true.
Throughout the film, there's the whole storyline. In my opinion, Creed was wrong.
Okay.
That's all there is to it.
Intriguing for the listeners. They might be thinking, what the hell?
Yeah, and I think the makers, the script writers, even Michael B. Jordan as the director, I think they made a mistake, essentially. I think there's going to be a lot of people like me who will think that Diamond Damien was in the right.
Played by Jonathan Majors, by the way,
who, in my opinion, I mean, I genuinely think Oscar-worthy performance.
Yeah, he was great.
He was incredible. I was not expecting to see the level of acting that I saw from Michael B. Jordan but especially Jonathan Majors.
He was so believable.
He was incredible.
That guy,
yeah. And every time he spoke, I was like, yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, you were
wholeheartedly agree with that. Yeah, and yet the way it was created and he was presented was that he's Oh God.
Well, he's a baddie, basically.
He's a baddie. Yeah, basically he's a baddie. And in my opinion, he's not a baddie. His character was not a baddie. His character was a goodie. His character was essentially Con Air. You know, Thingy in Con Air.
Nick Cage.
Nick Cage. He was Nick Cage in Con Air.
Right. So, obviously...
How could you not cheer for...
What a film.
Yeah, amazing.
That will be a
We've
throwback.
We've got to do that on a throwback. Yeah, 100%. That'll be a throwback. But yeah, so for me, that's where it loses. Now, considering I didn't like Creed 2, don't like Rocky films, I'm giving it a 4.
4 Sandys for Creed 3.
So that, to me, tells... So it's lost a point. And I was really arguing with myself about whether to give it a 3 because I think it's a major mistake. Like I say, I think.
But
it's
is
a really
it a mistake though?
Mistake.
I've seen a lot of things. Yeah. I've seen a lot of things about the fact of like it does get people talking, and it is like, oh, you know, most Rocky films you are literally like take Rocky 4, like you know, Ivan Drago kills Apollo Creed, and it's like, right, Rocky, you've got to absolutely murder this Russian. And you know, like Mr. T, kind of, you know, in Rocky 3, potentially was one of the causes as why Mickey died. So it's like, you deserve to get battered. I think they purposely did it to see a bit more of a true to life kind of character and story and journey. And I don't think they're stupid.
Well, if that's true, then... If that's true, then Creed's a dickhead. That's all there is to it.
Well, I would say that if
I think it was a misstep. I think they thought that viewers would just have good versus bad.
Well, I'm fully in the side of Creed.
It's wrong.
And what we'd love is...
You actually said to me, when I said that to you, you went, your response was, yeah, but you would say that because you're a scrote.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah. I grew up in London. You did your impression.
Yeah.
I'm Cockney John. I grew up in London.
No, but when you talk about issues like that, you do go like ridiculously Cockney, where you're just like, nah, blood, nah, blood. I'm just like, shut up, you absolute teacher. But I would say that if you are a fan of the Rocky franchise, number one, if you have not seen Creed 1 or Creed 2, then, you know, go and watch them. It's not, I don't think it's absolutely pivotal that you go and watch those. I mean, it will obviously give you an introduction to the characters, plus the 2 brilliant movies. But if you're a fan of Creed and Rockies, Creed 3 will deliver, absolutely no doubt. And the atmosphere in the cinema, it was exciting. It was
good, wasn't it? It was like silent as well. No one spoke.
Yeah,
no one spoke
for the first time in a very long time.
Yeah.
Nobody spoke. But there you have it. It's got 4.5 Harry Stampers. It's got 4 Sandys. Creed 3 is at every cinema out right now.